Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's spooky season and this is the makeup tutorial of my vampire look that I made for my Dracula review. If you haven't seen that video already, I did a Dracula review dressed like this. So go watch that video and then come back. So this is my interpretation of a vampire look. It's actually inspired by this artist and then this Instagram person who recreated it in her style. Obviously mine is completely different, but I did want to pay reverence to it because it was my inspiration. However, it's very me. I really wanted to make this simple as possible so that other people could use this look for Halloween, because it is a costume that I think that everybody can do. I hope that if you do use it, please let me know down in the comment section below. But with that being said, guys, I am going to go to Future Katie. Hello everybody and welcome to VoiceOver Katie. So, we are going to do a makeup product and then we're going to do a fact about the movie. Let's go. Okay, so the first step in this makeup process is primer. As you all know, my primer that I have been obsessed with is Maybelline's Baby Skin. I live and breathe by this primer. Go pick it up from Amazon. It's so good. It's so good. Alright, so our first fact of this film is the movie actually didn't get a score until 1998. I wanted to look like a vampire. I wanted to look perfect, even though I don't have perfect skin. So I use the Juvia's Place I Am Magic foundation, and I am in the shade Giza. If you didn't know, I have a video, so go watch that video if you haven't already. Alright, so our next fact is that Bela Lugosi played Dracula in Broadway first. So the play was one of Bela Lugosi's first English-speaking roles because he's from Gary, and he was also joined by the actor who did Van Helsing and Dr. Stewart. Both of them would play the same roles in Dracula. Fun fact, theater actors. I say that so much in the movie, but there you go. Alright, and so our next is concealer, baby, and I use the Beauty Bakery Instabake concealer. I Choose Me in a 014. Love this concealer. Really brightens up them eyes. Alright, and so our next fact is that Bela Lugosi was not their first choice for Dracula. They wanted Chaney, but Chaney unfortunately died, and so they also wanted other actors like Jean Way, Paul Mini, Conrad, I'm gonna butcher his name, Vidit, were all considered the role before Lugosi was approached. So there you go. It wasn't he wasn't the first choice, so we could have gotten a different Dracula. Alright, so our next step in the process is powder. And I used Air Sponge because I knew I was going to be in this thing for hours and hours and hours on end. And Air Sponge came out in 1935. How appropriate. Came out in the 30s. We're doing a 1930s movie, so it's great for long wear. Great for long wear. I recommend this one over all the other powders in my collection. Alright, so our next fact is that David Manners never saw the movie. David Manners is the person who, John Harker, but he also went on to work with Bela Lugosi 4 more times after Dracula's release, but he never saw it in the 67 years before his death. Isn't that crazy? It's super crazy. Alright, so the next thing is I did brows, and for brows I used the NYX retractable liner in black for brows because I thought I was going to do a black wig, but then I thought there's too much black going on, so I chose red because the Dracula with Gary Oldman and is like my favorite Dracula, and Lucy is my favorite character in that, and she has this gorgeous like red hair, so I wanted to have that energy. Actually, is a Spanish version made of the film, which arguably a lot of people think is better than the original with Bela Lugosi. So if you guys want me to review that one, let me know. I can't speak Spanish, but I will judge it on just being a film. Alright, so the next thing that I did was we're going on to the eyeshadow. Take a deep breath, get a drink. This is a lot from a lot of different palettes, so relax. Okay. So the first thing I did was primer, which is that white from NYX eye base primer. David Manners got paid more than Bela Lugosi. Like, this person got paid more than the Count Dracula. Like, it's insane. And that was due to the Great Depression. Usually in the Great Depressions, actors would get paid $500 a week, which is insane, even back then. But Bela Lugosi just really wanted to play this film, like this in the film. Like, he really wanted to play Dracula in the film, so he took a pay cut because he just was so passionate about this character and playing this character. That's true passion there. Then I set that with the Magic Mini from Juvia's Place, and I used the shade Kelsey. The stock market crash affected the film. Universal is one of the biggest movie studios in the US, and the stock market of 1929 affected everybody. The film didn't have as big budget as it was hoping for, so in order to pay cuts, there was an adaptation to the play instead of the book. That's why it's adapted to the play and not the book, because of the stock market. I really wish it was adapted from the book, because if you haven't read the book already, either listen to the audiobook or go find it. I think it's actually, you can find it online for no money, so go read Dracula. It's by Bram Stoker. It's amazing. I went into the paint palette, and I went into black, and I used the tiniest brush I had, because with working with black, it is very, very pigmented. And so you don't want to go with the biggest blending brush you have, because then your whole face ends up gray. And that's not a good thing. I mean, it is for black and white, but we're not going for that today. So I went with the tiniest blending brush I had, and I put on a thin layer of black, not blending it in because I knew I was going to blend it in. Alright, so the cinematographer took over for Don Browning. So Universal's originally had wanted Lon Chaney to play Count Dracula, as I said, but due to his death, they were forced to work with Lugosi. But Todd Browning especially took his death hard because they were friends, so it affected his directing. I went into the Cybergoth palette by Hell Bites Beauty. Love this palette. And I went into Trippy, which is also my favorite red shadow that I own. So I love that palette so much. And then I took a slightly bigger blending brush, and I blended in Trippy with that black shadow. And it made a beautiful, beautiful shade. Now, not that I have anything against the paint palette red. I've used it a lot, though, in just general, because it is so good. Just like Glamlite shadows are great. But however, Trippy is brighter, and it brightens up the look, versus that red that just kind of makes it look, I'm going to say, muddy. So I love using Trippy. Trippy is a great, great shadow. So the next fact is that censorship led to the iconic scene of Dracula being cut forever. So one of the most devastating losses of censorship was the original version of Dracula ended with a man standing in front of the curtain and informing the audience to consider the possibility that vampires walk among us. This scene was deemed to be anti-religious, as it insinuated that audiences should believe in dark forces. As such, it was cut. Oddly enough, the similar piece is in Frankenstein and is often parodied, like in The Simpsons' Treehouse of Horror episodes. It would have been so cool for them to add that, and it would have made up for that movie. But of course, they had to cut it. Alright, and going into the Wallowa Juvia's Place palette, take Sis and the tiny... These are actually paintbrushes that I got from the craft store, but I use them for body paint. So I took one of those. You could also use like a pencil brush kind of thing going on. And I created a new crease, inner crease. Made that little goth thing. Definitely look up reference photos before, but essentially you're just going to like take it from your crease and you're just going to go a little bit above that. And then make a line going down. That's why I like using shadow for this early on and not just going in with eyeliner, because you will fail. So parts of the film had to be censored. As mentioned previously, the production code from the Hays Code, we all know this, had to delete the epilogue, but the studio had to censor groaning of the Count after he is killed and the screams of Redfield as he dies. Other scenes that were censored are the bugs coming over the coffin, Dracula's Brides, and Redfield's Pleas to Eat Spiders and Bugs. Just, you know, your average Tuesday night, you know. Alright, and then I cut the crease. Now that I created my crease, my fake crease, I cut that crease with that NYX again, that white. If you want to see a version that's not censored, definitely go watch the Dracula movie with Gary Oldman, Winona Ryder, and Keanu Reeves. Also, Anthony Hopkins is also in that as well. Hannibal Lecter is also in that as well. Then I went into, while that was drying, because that primer is so wet. If you have dry lids, I recommend NYX eyeshadow base because it is a lot. It is very, very wet. So then I went into the Glamlite Donut palette and I went into Jelly and I put that under the eye. This is a Japanese makeup technique that is hangover makeup. It has an actual name. It's like nagari, something like that. And I put that all underneath, so it kind of makes you look sick, but also in vampire movies, this is just how it makes them look vampire-ish. But now it looks fashionable. What can you say? So the next fact that I have for you is that Bela Lugosi only appears in 2 films as Dracula. So as you may know, there is a lot of Universal Monster movies. Alright, and then after that, I went back into the Glamlite paint palette, and I went into Burgundy, and I made it look more defined, and I raccooned it out to make it look like we are vampires. There's like monster mashes, they go together, you know, this kind of Freddy versus Jason thing, or this like Batman versus Superman, or Iron Man versus Captain America actually came from Universal. Okay, so and then the middle of the crease, I went into the Juvia's Place Warrior 3 palette, and I went into my Broken palette because I want to use that one before I use my new one, and I went into Karma, which is this gorgeous silver shade. Like, oh, I love it. It's so pretty. Oh, so pretty. The cinematographer, Carl Ferd, actually directed some of the scenes because Browning was so unprofessional. And you can definitely see that. I believe you could definitely see that through some of the scenes because there's more lighting than there is, and there's more like and like there's less of a direction, and there's less of like a vision, as I've stated in my movie review. Go watch it if you haven't already. And then I went into the Juvia's Place Zulu palette, and this one does not have a name, but it is that red shimmer shade, which I've never had before and I love. And I put that into our normal corner, and then into our new inner corner, I went into the ColourPop Blue Moon palette, and I took Lumi and I just defined the inner corner. And then I took black from the paint palette again, and I kind of filled in the rest of the cut crease and just kind of like made it look like an eyeliner and stuff like that. And I just blended everything in. I went back into Trippy, and I just blended everything in to make it look nice and beautiful, and spent like 20 minutes doing it. So yeah. And then I took white from the paint palette, which is this white shimmer, and I highlighted the brow bone, and I also highlighted the part of the nose, like the contour of the nose. Then I took the NYX black liner and went nuts. And I just basically went and just did normal eyeliner because like we already defined our eyeliner, basically how our eyeliner looks. If we did like a bat eyeliner look, or if we did something else that wasn't that shape, it would look really weird. So just follow the line that you've already created and you'll be golden. Okay, so while making makeup videos, I'm alone and sometimes the camera's not in focus. This happens a lot and I lose a lot of footage, and a lot of the video ideas I have go down the drain. So I'm going to show you how to do the spiderweb thing on paint. I don't know if it's going to look as nice as if I would do it on my face, but we're going to try. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to, from the eye, you're going to learn how far down you want the spider web to go, and you're going to make dots. So dots, I did one in like down here, one from the center of the eye, one from the corner of the eye, and then one here. And the eyeliner, I picked this eye because it's kind of similar to the eye shape that I want. So the eyeliner is kind of like that. So that's how it's going to work. So then I make a line to, it's usually on my face, it was perfect. But on paint, it's not perfect. Just imagine that all of these lines are perfect. And now we have this abstract figure. And now that we're gonna make these little humps. It's not perfect, but it's paint. Why is paint like this? Can someone explain to me why paint be like this? Like, you're gonna make these little humps. A hump and hump. And then you're going to, I did it individually. With paint, it will be easier just to do it all with one line. But when you're doing eyeliner, I just did these little lines that go this way. More humps. More humps. Oh, the humps. And it looks way better on your eye. And then you can put whatever you want. Like, I put a little spider. I, like, extended it, and I put a little spider. Okay, big spider. This is a big spider, apparently. With its 6 little legs. With its 6 legs. Yeah. That looks beautiful. How many legs do spiders have? How many legs does a spider have? 8. Oops. My spider had not that many legs. Oops. And then you put your spider with how many legs? I gave my spider only 6 legs. So it's not an accurate spider. But with too many legs, as you can see, it just kind of looks busy. So I put 6 legs. It's because it's less busy. And that's how you do the eye. It actually looks more creepy. I'm kind of mad. It actually looks very creepy when it's done badly. I didn't even realize that. But that's the process of it. That's the process of it. I hope you learned something today. Okay, and then this next footage is blurry too. But just work with it. So instead of black, I actually did an orange in the waterline. If I had a red, I would use a red, but I don't have a red, so orange is the best I can do. And the reason I didn't use black is because we already have so much black in this look that I feel like if you put it in your under corners, like, it would just make your eyes look really small. Even so, and I want to define those eyes, baby, because you have beautiful eyes and you need to show them off. So then I put the fangs in, and if you guys want to know how I put these fangs from Amazon in, please let me know. I might do a reels on my Instagram, so go please follow me on LilMissKaty, and I will do it. You know what? I decided right now. I'm going to do a video on reels on how to put in those fangs, because, yeah, if you have a snaggletooth like me, this would be coming so much handy. So, and then I went and did lashes. And then after that, I went into the Juvia's Place Festival Black liquid lip, which is my favorite liquid lip, like, ever. It's beautiful, amazing. And then finally, we did setting spray, and we're done. Look, the look is so pretty. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I love it. I love it so much. Okay, back to Katie. Hi, everybody. It's a lot with my snaggletooth. And then I also put in my contacts, which are from UniqueSew. If you want 10% off your next purchase of UniqueSew, LilMissKaty, that is my code if you want 10% off your next purchase. As far as this outfit goes, if you're interested, that is a haul video that's coming up in the future. So definitely subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell so you know when that is, so you can see where you can get this lovely, lovely costume for yourself. That's why I'm trying not to show you too much. Yeah, guys, with that being said, stay safe out there.